welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. Today we're gonna take a deep dive into Jose's life, and we're gonna find out his journey to chasing dreams and his journey just throughout his whole professional career from college to now. So thank you, Jose, so much for joining us.
Thank you, Joe, for having me on here. It's a pleasure.
I mean, it's a long time waited. I mean, I've been planning for you to have you on the show, and it's like this was like perfect, you know. And then when I saw the Rutgers the video on you and your journey, man, like that gave me like a lot more insight to like your professional career, more than I knew before too. So yeah, I'm so excited. For the audience members that don't know exactly who you are, can you just give us a small background about yourself?
Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Jose Baez, and I recently graduated from Rutgers University. Um, my hometown is West New York, New Jersey. That's where I'm from. That's where I was raised. And let's see what else. My parents are from the Dominican Republic. I was born in New York, but I still claim my Dominican heritage a lot. And yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get right into it, Jose. I always know you to be like a humble person, right? And you've been always grinding. I've only known you through working hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of never got to see you like kind of have the fun side, you know. But I don't know, where does that hustle and drive kind of come from? Is that because you saw your mom like being an immigrant and coming from the Dominican Republic and just grinding hard, and also your dad working like literally every day, that just it was just you grew up in that environment, so you're just like heads down, I gotta grind hard? Or I don't know, is that something that you developed?
I feel like it's definitely something that I got from my parents, something that's been instilled in me growing up. My just a little bit of background. My parents, like I mentioned, from the Dominican Republic, where they were accountants, but when they came to the United States, their degrees weren't recognized, and they had to raise me and my brother. So they had to pick up whatever jobs that they could find. So my father, he works the graveyard shift at a cheese factory. He's been there for about 20 years. And while at nighttime, when I'm sleeping, me and my brother were sleeping. My father, he's up, he's awake, and he's working hard. And that's something that I always have in the back of my mind. And my mother, she's a very hard worker as well. Sometimes working two, three jobs, like little side jobs here and there, just to support the family. So, uh, just always had the mentality like if they're working hard, if they're doing all these things for me and my brother, I'm like I have to work just as hard as them. And
That
and also real quick, I wanted to just throw in there. I grew up playing sports, playing baseball, basketball, football, and I hate losing. I'm a competitor, so I always wanted to work hard, always wanted to be the best, and my father always said that if you're gonna do something, you got to do it right.
that's amazing. I'm like just hearing, I think, the hard work of your parents. Like, so you grew up and like you're a competitor, and I I kind of want to know like did you always dream of, I think, it seems like working hard isn't a complaint to you. Like, you don't mind working hard, it's in you. But like, Jose, when you go to sleep, man, like, what do you dream of? Like, do you just dream of, I think, your family environment and giving them like, because you kind of talk about this, and I encourage people like to go watch that Rutgers video, the Road to Wall Street video, that gives a little bit more insight. But um, like, when you go to sleep, do you think about, I don't know, just being able to give back to your family and like just everyone that supported you along the way, and like, do you see them in a comfortable situation that you're able to put them in? Or is it like, do you see yourself in a position or in a certain career? Like, what do you dream about?
Yeah, so I definitely want to help not only just my family to get in a better position, but definitely the community as well where I was raised. So I'll start off with my family first. So one of the things that I dream about is I wanna purchase a home for my family. A house. It may seem small. Some people may be like, "Oh, that's what you dream about," but for me, that's something very important because that'll be something that we're gonna own. That's something that's gonna be in our name. Something that's gonna be within the family, and hopefully for generations. And when my parents get older, I won't have to worry about them having a place to stay at or paying rent. So that's one of my goals. That's one of the things I dream about. And then to touch on the part that I said about the community, um, growing up, there's times where I didn't really have resources or I didn't really have much guidance, and I had to go through some things in order for me to get on the right path, or in order for me to. Sometimes I had to learn things the hard way, basically. So I want to give back to community and help the youth and help students, athletes, whatever it may be, whoever is on their path, their journey, whatever they want to pursue. I want to be able to contribute to that. I want to help them out.
Do you think that kind of developed more as you did sports? Because you were a track athlete, right? Before you came to Rutgers, you transferred in. But like being a track athlete and man, like having ran just a little bit and like starting getting into running, like it's so mental. And at least for me, like I can't think about the end goal. Like I have to just think about like where I'm at right now and just keep running, and I don't know, for sometimes I have to distract myself, but I learned a lot about like just how weak I am and how willing I am to quit when I know I got more in the tank. Do you think like you developed like such a strong mentality from running that helped you like throughout just like everything?
It's definitely helped me develop or build perseverance. There's times where I'll go on runs or during training, and I was like, gosh, like this sucks. Like this is. I always had a love hate relationship with running, whether getting mileage in or doing sprints. But it's definitely helped me out a lot, developing not only physical strength but mental strength, like you mentioned. I believe it's just as mentally challenging as it is physically challenging.
Uh, do you ever get scared though, like kind of throughout your journey? Because I feel like it sounds like you're kind of invincible. Like you just keep trying and like you got that like I think it comes from like I wouldn't say you're a desperate person, but you're desperate for more opportunities. Like you said, you had to learn the hard way, right? But you're willing to learn. Like, do you think that you were just never scared and you just never hope? Like, it's hard because you're a competitor, so like, you think like you dream about winning, right? But like sometimes you don't get there. Like, does that ever scared you?
I wouldn't say it scared me. No, I consider myself a very bold person. I take chances, and I always tell myself the only way to guarantee failure is to quit right now. Is to not try, not to give any effort. And what's the worst thing that can happen? Anytime I decided to pursue new opportunities or I taken a chance on something, I always tell myself like, what's the worst that can happen? They'll say no. If they say no, I'll be in the same position that I am right now. So you miss 100% of all the shots you don't take. So I'm just always shooting. I'm always pursuing something or always just trying to get into something new.
Then how were you able to like I think like emotionally and mentally manage yourself? Because like at least I know like I'm like a thinker and I'm like a very passionate person. So like how do you like manage that? Do you just like do you like you said you just always keep your head down, you always keep grinding, and that's like already built into you? But like how do you refrain from getting I think like too involved or maybe too personal with your goal or something like that?
To be honest, growing up, I always heard the quote or the saying, "Ignorance is bliss," and I never really understood it. But then, as I gotten older, I understand what it means. So, kind of the way that I relate that to myself is, I never really gave it much thought. I never really thought, what if this doesn't happen? I never thought about what about failure. Like my plan B was always to make my plan A work. Um, so wasn't really like fear was never really a thing. Like in dealing with things mentally, like I just kind of always put my head down. I try not to think too much, and I'm just always focused on just trying to get the job done and trying to accomplish whatever it is that I try to accomplish at the moment.
For those people out there that I guess don't have that kind of ability, like, do you recommend? I think like I don't know, writing goals down. Like, is there something you tell yourself mentally or do something to like get over that hump?
I feel like having faith is very important. So not to get too religious or anything like that, but I believe in God. So prayer is something that helps me out. Like whether praying in the morning, praying at nighttime. My friend group, having friends, having people that you can speak with, whether like, and if you don't really have that many friends, you don't have that many people you can confide in, like maybe even family, like just having someone you could talk with and share your aspirations with and talk about your goals and talk about things and like whenever you're going through hardships, just having someone to speak to really it could be a really big help.
I don't know. It just so I man like oh, it's like amazing to hear someone. I think kind of like always pay back, because like it just you just hearing from you, like I never hear you talking about yourself like I do this, I do that. Like you kind of give credit to everyone that's helped you along the way, and you're like, hey, I'm here now because of them, you know. And I think that's very humbling to like hear about. And like I'm kind of not surprised that you're a man of faith, because like I feel like there's always got to be something in someone to like keep them humble. You know, they don't have to believe in God, but they gotta be faithful to something like bigger than themselves. And like hearing that, do you think that religion was like that? Was it, when did you start accepting that religion? Did you always believe in it because like your parents said so, or was that something that like, man, like I wouldn't be here without God, so like you always felt him?
I feel I feel like there's just been I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate. Like just to be in the position that I am. Like you mentioned the Road to Wall Street video that they made on me. Like the fact that they picked me, like I'm like, there's no way that it's just me myself. Like that. Oh, I'm this smart or I'm this talented. Like I know there's someone upstairs. There's the man upstairs. Like he's blessed me. He's got my back. And like yeah, like I'm just, like I said, I'm just very blessed, and sometimes I can't even believe it, all the things that I've been able to accomplish. And that's why I always give credit and I always give thanks to God, to my family, to my mentors, to my friends, everyone. It's a team effort. It's not just all myself.
Yeah, just even now, you still don't talk about yourself. Even in that video, you still don't talk about yourself. And do you think now that you secure a position, do you see that as a stepping stone, or is this your final destination? Like, what do you want to do? Like, I guess like past this, like what's your end goal? What's your final dream? Or have you not thought about that yet, and you're just working on like step one, two, three?
I don't really think too far out into the future. I'm just very happy and I'm very fortunate, to be employed, to be at a big bank, to be at a very great bank with a good culture to start off my career. And this is definitely like, I feel like it's a stepping stone to like towards a new life, towards a better life, towards being in a better financial position, towards being in a place surrounded by very smart people where I'm going to be able to learn something new every single day, and being in a place where not only am I going to be challenged, but I'm going to be supported as well by my team and by the people around me.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you, just to come to a close now, can you give, I guess, our listeners who are ambitious, who want to get to where you are, like important tips and things that will help them get there?
Important things, important tips, and how they will get there. Let me think real quick. One of my favorite quotes by Frederick Douglass is, "Without struggle, there is no progress." So I feel like you have to put yourself in positions like outside of your comfort zone. So I'm gonna go into like a little story right now. But straight out of high school, when I applied to Rutgers, I didn't get into Rutgers, and I'm kind of glad that things worked that way, because I ended up going to Montclair State University where I ran track for 2 years. Um, I started off as an athletic training major. I wanted to do something sports related, but then I took my first class of anatomy physiology my first semester, and I got a C. And I was like, oh man, science. I don't really think science is my thing. So I was like, what else could I do? And my parents, they were accountants in the Dominican Republic, so I always had an interest in business, but never had much exposure to it. So I decided to pursue a major. I decided to switch my major to finance, and I decided to pursue a career on Wall Street. So then started connecting with people on LinkedIn. Was very fortunate to connect with this one alum, and he took me under his wing. And then once again, I'm like, okay, what can I do to get there? What are the steps? What's my game plan? And I applied to Rutgers, and I was initially waitlisted. I didn't get accepted right away. I was initially waitlisted. So there was an event called Admitted Students Day that happened one weekend in the spring, and I was like, I gotta get down there. I gotta get down there. So I drove down to Rutgers, even though I was still on the wait list. Went to Admitted Students Day, and I'm walking in the business school, and I see this big tall man in a red shirt, and something just told me like, you should talk to this guy. So I introduced myself. I talked to him, and it turns out that he was the external transfer advisor. So he was the person who admits people, who looks at the applications, and and, and he was just the perfect person to talk to. He was just the perfect person to meet. and I told him my story and everything. And after the conversation with him, he said, "Shoot me an email next week." I shot him an email, and he directly took me out of the wait list and accepted me into the business school. So I know that was a long story. I may have got off track, but like it's gonna be a struggle. You're gonna face adversity. You're gonna face challenges and obstacles, but you just gotta keep on grinding. And don't take no for an answer. Do not take no for an answer at all. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Sorry, I'm like soaking it in. Like I'm not surprised you did that either, and that's amazing. Like you had to get an answer. You know what I mean? And like you saw an opportunity. I mean, most people won't even see that as an opportunity, but you're like, no, wait. I can make things an opportunity. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Jose. This was wonderful. Thank you.
No doubt. And thank you for having me. Like I said, I remember meeting you when I worked as a fitness assistant in the gym, and you're always there, always getting a workout in, good energy, always like friendly and talking to the staff and everything. So I really appreciate you, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Jose.